Hello again, and welcome to week 5. Now, after the account of what God made on each of the 6 days of creation that we find in the first chapter of Genesis, in chapter 2, we get a summary of the creation that focuses on the making of the first man and the first woman. This begins in verse 4 of chapter 2. Now, this is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created, when the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. Now no shrub had yet appeared on the earth, and no plant had yet sprung up, for the Lord God had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no one to work the ground. But streams came up from the earth, and watered the whole surface of the ground. Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man that he had formed. The Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. In the middle of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The Lord God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die." The Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them, and whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds in the sky, and all the wild animals. But for Adam no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs, and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. Adam and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. Now, there are a lot of things that we could ask about this. We could ask questions and think about the very different world that is described here. A world where it never rains, but a mist comes up from the ground. A world where, for a moment at least, the male is by himself, and he names the animals, but he doesn't find anyone like him. But I think the important thing about this passage, and certainly the thing that the church has found important about this passage from the very beginning, is that it outlines that from the moment that humanity began to exist, there was a need for unity. There was a need for diversity as well. There was a need for community, for companionship. The man by himself was lonely, and God made for him, like him, of the same stuff as him, a woman to be his companion, his best friend, his wife. This establishes marriage as the essential, foundational institution of human life. It exists before the fall. It exists before children. It exists before everything else that human beings have done and have made. And that, I think, is very important. We certainly find it to be very important for ourselves. Every one of us has some family that we came from, and that family begins with the love of our father and our mother together. So, this is a blessed thing, this marriage, this union of man and woman. This is a thing that God has made. It is the foundation of our lives. It is at the foundation of the church as well. We'll talk about that some more on Wednesday. For now, have a blessed day. I will see you all later.